WrestleBuddy Podcast. All about wrestling. Subscribe and follow for more content.
Welcome, WrestleBuddies, to our weekly podcast, and this week we've got our prediction show. I'm joined today by my co-host and brother, Jimmy. How we doing, Jim?
Doing fantastic. Getting ready for tonight. It's going to be a good show.
It is. I've just been looking at the cards. Then, you know, I've obviously haven't been well recently, so I haven't been out of bed much and watching wrestling. But I'm just catching up on the card there, and it's a solid card, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
One match they could still potentially add is the Shinsuke Sami Zayn match.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see Charlotte maybe?
Nah.
No.
Nah. She might show up for something, but there's no match.
Yeah.
Tony killed that one.
She did, unfortunately. All right, mate. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with the biggest hype on the card then. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Poor Drew. Poor Drew.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around why this match is happening. But I guess it's kind of cool that we're not seeing Drew versus Baron, because that would have been just something we've seen before. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
So I like that, but I don't watch enough SmackDown to really know what the deal with Madcap Moss is, other than he makes bad jokes and they laugh, and I don't get it, but who knows, man? This match might actually surprise us.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Crystal Bell. Happy New Year to you, mate, and I, Nick. How are you doing? Yeah. Chris has made a bold prediction here. Drew wins.
Not a chance.
Yeah, he definitely does win, doesn't he? It'd be interesting to see how it goes, though, with this one. I know it's just to get it into the match. Do you know what I mean? But you know,
I'm gonna go with a bold prediction here, and I'm gonna say that Madcap Moss gets a win somehow.
You reckon,
I think it's very WWE. I think we all know Drew's about to get a big push in the next couple months. He's my pick at this point to take on Roman at WrestleMania, and they like to really bring guys down before they shoot them back up. And can he go any lower than losing to Madcap Moss at a pay-per-view?
Yeah, he could do, couldn't he? I suppose. And as you say, there's an easy way to protect him with Finger involved, isn't there?
Yeah, you got Baron Corbin there. He does something. Drew loses. Drew gets his redemption back before the Rumble, and then the story between him and Reigns begins. Like, I could very well see this happening.
How would you start that one? To just have Drew go back into the Scottish psychopath type of character, or would you look on winning the Royal Rumble with him again?
I definitely see him winning the Royal Rumble, unfortunately, unless something dramatically changes in the next few weeks. But I would have him just being the Terminator that he was, where he just goes on a rampage and starts just beating the shit out of everybody. Because that's what got him over to begin with. It wasn't the smiling, happy to be here Drew who's going to do what he can for the fans. It was, okay, I'm going to hurt you because I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you, and that's all it is. Yeah.
And do you know what? I felt sorry for Drew, because do you know what? I was thinking about Drew before when I seen this match, and I was thinking about, like, do you know, in any other time, he's the leader of the company if Roman isn't there, isn't he?
Yeah. He's supposed to be their biggest babyface. I don't think he is at this moment. I think he's taking a back seat. I don't think he minds it. I think he's okay with that position. But I would like to see him get back there because he deserves it. He's what you want out of a wrestler. He's a good guy and he can perform. So it's like you want that for him.
Yeah, you definitely do. All right, well, we'll move on from that then. On to our next match. We've got Edge versus Miz with Maurice. Is a really thing that they've actually put a point of putting in there that Maurice is with Miz. Obviously, it's all leading up to Edge thingy, isn't it? What's his name?
Edge.
Beth.
Yeah.
Beth.
Yeah, for sure.
100% coming towards that, isn't it?
There's a reason they took her off the NXT commentary.
I know. I'd like to build up to this. I thought the two of them have done really, really well in how they've gone about it. What's your thoughts on it so far?
Yeah, I know a lot of people's first reaction to that first promo they had was they're just trying to piggyback off the Punk MJF thing. But if you really go back and watch all of Edge's promos since he's been back, they were exactly that. The timing was just there because Miz returned and we got the back and forth. But Edge is just so good at selling these matches. Like his promos, I know a lot of people are like he's might be the best today, and it's I still feel like even that he's underrated with how good he is at just really selling these matches with his promos. And like you said, I've enjoyed the build. I like that the physicality has been minimal to this point, and I'm looking forward to Miz getting put in a position to be at the top again because he deserves it.
Yeah.
After that goofy run he had last time, I think he deserves a legit run. And Edge is the perfect person to help make that happen.
No zombies. Poor
No
lad.
drift sticks.
No. I think the Miz. I think the Miz wins here, and I think the Miz wins here. Chris LaBelle said that wins keeps the feud going. Yeah, I think Maurice gets involved, and obviously that's when Edge will come out maybe Monday night and be like, "Okay, you want to get your wife involved and let me even the odds," and then boom, right itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that instantly makes Miz credible again. You get a win over Edge, that's huge for him. And again, if there's someone who deserves it, it's Miz.
Yeah.
It's been too long since we've been able to really take him seriously.
That's it, yeah.
I got Miz as well.
Okie doke, so we've both got Miz on this one. On to the next one. I seen this match and it kind of raised my eyebrows, but I was happy that it was there. And that is Ricochet and Cesaro versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. As I say, it did make me raise my eyebrows a little bit, but solid match to be on that card, and it's one I'm really looking forward to. Yeah,
absolutely. I saw Ricochet and Cesaro tag at the live event I went to, and I as soon as I saw it, I was like, it makes sense to pair them together. They're both very similar in my opinion. You got two guys who are fantastic in the ring, not so fantastic with everything else. Put them together, see what happens, and I mean, their ring work speaks for itself, and they're very contrasting with their styles.
Do you know what this reminds me of straight away when I seen that tag team with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd?
Yeah, and it was a good tag team.
Yeah,
it was a very good tag team. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to. And Sheamus doesn't miss, and I'm still a little iffy on Ridge Holland, but I think he's good enough to at least stay on par with these guys and deliver a solid match. And very unpredictable match. That's always my favorite.
Yeah, and I think also with Ridge Holland this is a good learning match for him, isn't it, to be in the ring with these three. You know, obviously Sheamus on his side helping him call it, and then Cesaro and Ricochet on the other side helping him through the match and learning a lot. He should be rubbing his hands with this one, should he not?
Yep, and it's in front of a big audience, so it's the best way to get that experience. So this is a good match. I think it's an underrated match. I think not a lot of people will be as excited for this as they probably should be. I think it'll be solid.
Just one thing I want to say as well is, you know, when you were saying about a big audience, what's your thoughts on? I've seen a lot on social media, etc., about these seat fillers. What's your thoughts on that?
To my understanding, it's been a thing that they've done forever. Someone goes to the bathroom, they don't want an empty seat on the TV, they have someone go sit in it. Person comes back, they get up, they sit down. That's what I've always thought a seat filler was. If it's something different, feel free to message me and let me know if you have a better understanding of this. But I think now with social media, it's more things that are becoming into the light for us to.
Yeah, guys, if anybody watching who's knows more details on this, leave us some comments there about it, because I'd like to understand that more as well. I mean, I have seen with the likes of the Oscars and stuff, they use seat fillers, they always have done.
Yeah.
So I don't really see what the massive differences.
And then the few times I've been to shows like on the floor, if there's empty seats on the floor, they just move people that like it's the same idea as a seat filler. They just take people from spots that won't be heavily featured on the camera, and they just move them over there to those seats. It's something I've seen at both WWE and AEW. It's not anything new, I don't think. It's just, again, just one of those things people can come up with these crazy conspiracy theories about where, oh, they can't sell tickets.
Yeah. Interesting. As I say, guys, anybody who knows any more details on it, let us know in the comments, because, as I say, I don't understand it myself. I wouldn't mind understanding it a bit more detail. Right, so, Chris LaBelle, you've gone for Cesaro and Ricochet win. I'm going to go for exactly the same on that one. What's your ones on this?
I'm going to go Sheamus and Ridge Holland to stretch this one out a little bit more. Can't ever go wrong stretching out a Cesaro and Sheamus feud.
Brilliant. Okay, so the next match we've got is the culmination of the Arcade Bro-nament. We've got the Arcade Bro versus the Street Profits Raw Tag Team Championships. Arcade Bro being brilliant. I know on our end of season, end of year awards show, they got the best tag team. I thought that was really, really I thought that was really, really deserved. I felt they've been the best thing on Raw for a long, long time. What's your thoughts on Arcade Bro before we start going into the match?
Yeah, as I said in the show, I put high praise on Matt Riddle. I think he was the MVP of Raw, and that just goes with Arcade Bro. It was the most entertaining thing on Raw all year long, and I think it got more legs than people really thought was going to happen, and I'm glad that it was something that they kind of slowly went into and then let it happen. And you're seeing Randy. I feel like Randy's having fun, and I don't remember a time during his career where I can like look at and say Randy was having fun at that moment. And right here he is, and I think that's cool, given like where he is at his career. And can't say enough about how good RK Bro has been.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people saying, oh, it's time to split them up and stuff. I don't think it is. I mean, I don't think WWE are going to do it anyway because they are merch, but I still think we've got...
Behind Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, I see more RK Bro merchandise than anything. If anybody hasn't noticed that. I've seen it firsthand. RK Bro is a big money maker for them, so yeah. They're gonna ride that one a little longer.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so in this one, Street Profits are a great tag team, though, aren't they? They really are a good tag team.
Yeah.
I see. Do you know what? It reminds me of the Rockers scenario. This one, because you can only see one superstar coming out of it, can't you?
I hate that because I personally think that Dawkins is a better in-ring performer. I think Montez has more charisma. He's more athletic. But as far as like actual wrestling goes, I just think Dawkins has more. And he has charisma. It's not like he's boring. Just when he's standing next to Montez, it's like it's a very big difference. But that's with anybody. Literally anybody standing next to Montez is gonna look boring.
Yeah, that's it. I think with Montez he's a prime example of with wrestling when there's just something there's something, you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be like the best worker and something. But like Michaels, really, because back in the day, in my eyes, Marty Jannetty was the best wrestler in the Rockers.
I didn't quite pay enough attention back then, so I can't speak. But yeah, I guess I can see it. It's hard to think that anybody was better than Shawn Michaels. That's just me, though. But yeah, I guess I could.
Right, on this one, how do we see this one? I see a clean win for the RK Bro. I don't see any other way. I don't.
I see RK Bro getting the win, but I also we just talked. They're not going to break up anytime soon. I do think we start to see the seeds start to get planted for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of tension going on tonight, but they will find a way to win.
Yeah. I think they win clean, and it just goes on and on for a little bit longer. I mean, do you know what? For me personally, I think a great story for the RK Bro would be for Riddle to win the Royal Rumble. and then Randy to kind of go off on one and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? You could have a nice little feud leading up to WrestleMania, then you don't even have to have it at WrestleMania.
My only worry with that would be is overexposure of Riddle at this point. You got him over on NXT. You have him as tag champion. You have him as the Royal Rumble winner. I think people are just now starting to kind of forget that bad taste they had of him, and I wouldn't want them to spoil that just by like really pushing him too much.
I get you.
Yeah, but he was my pick to win it a few months ago. So I mean, I wouldn't be terribly mad if he won it. I just don't say it now.
Okay, though. Right, so we're both going RK Bro on that one. Chris LaBelle's gone Street Profits, interesting. Ashton Donnelly, my son, he's gone RK Bro. So,
Nice, bro.
Yeah, bro. Okie doke, on to our next ones. Another tag team champion match straight away. The Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Just like you all know, guys, as well, this doesn't mean that this is the actual way the card's going to run. It's just what we've got so far. So, you know. Usos win for this one. Quite easy. Not really going to be an issue, is it?
Yeah, I guess so. I think they just put this on there just so they could have a solid match. I don't think there's anybody else on SmackDown that could give them a solid match right now. So it just gives them the best possible match for this card that is Nick Khan's baby. So, I don't see any scenario where the New Day wins. But I do fully expect this to just be a fantastic match, as always.
Yeah. But as we always said, you know what, I'm a big believer. I always say Usos don't have a bad match. And I don't think I've seen them have a bad match, so...
I can say the same for New Day. I think the New Day doesn't have bad matches as far as tag team goes.
So Crystal LaBelle said, New Day wins because New Day.
New Day rocks.
Yeah. Ashton Donnelly, I think the Usos in this one because Roman would be disappointed, or I think they will be suspended. Good one, mate. Good one. Yeah, I think the belts need to stay on the Usos, don't they? For the I think Ashton's quite right in the fact of because the whole storyline with Roman and stuff, they need to keep the belts on them for now.
And Xavier Woods needs to go into the singles competition again.
Get
away from the tag team, both of them.
Yeah, go and give him an Intercontinental Championship or something.
I'm calling it now. He's going to be winning that Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise. Okie doke. Next match we have on this card, the man Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. Jim, go on, mate.
Man, I have a feeling Liv's winning this match.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a good enough reason for it to happen, though. I don't think Liv Morgan has done enough to capitalize on the momentum she had to make me believe she can go into WrestleMania as a draw with the women's title. I don't see it, and that's not a knock on her. She's good, but is she the kind of person you're gonna put on the poster to promote WrestleMania? I don't see it, and I'd hate for her to win it just to lose it next month. That's pointless. I
think if
she Ash situation. They ruined and spoiled her run, and it was pointless.
I think she could win it, though. I think she could win it, and it'll be interesting to see what she does with it then.
Yeah, she definitely could win it. I'm just by watching the shows, though, I'm just like, I think I can't think of the word right now. I'm having a brain fart, but I think it's worn off. I think the
fad.
Yes, I think that's kind of dissipated. It's not what it was, like it was when she went into the match with Becky Lynch. I mean, people were really behind her. They were hyped for her. She lost. She got screwed, and everyone was like, "Oh, she'll get a rematch." And then the weeks after that, it was kind of like, it's Liv. They're not as excited about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean,
prove
I
me
still
wrong,
think
though,
she's...
Liv. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing we've seen time and time again, when WWE puts the machine behind somebody, they can get them over to NXT. You know, if they want to, they can get anybody over.
Yeah. Just my short-term memory, though, I just keep looking at the Nikki Ash run. They put it on her, and it was cool. I really liked that they put it on her, and I was really hoping she was going to get a run with it. And then they killed it before it could gain any traction, and now Nikki Ash is in a makeshift tag team doing nothing. And I feel like that's what would happen with Liv Morgan. Because again,
do you think with Nikki though as well that we had a bit of an issue with the whole Charlotte situation, and Charlotte maybe kicking off in the background, trying to get the belt back quicker?
I think that's what we're led to believe by the dirt sheets and stuff, but I guess I don't want to like make that assumption based off
because the only reason I'm saying that is, did you see the thing that Tony Storm apparently released?
No.
Let me just find it if I can find it. Let me see. Bear with me 1 minute.
Just to entertain you all while he's looking up, I got MJF as the WWE champion. It'll happen one day, I promise.
No, wait there. I don't even think it's thingy. It must be a load of shite because I can't find it.
For now.
Right.
Put it on this man. Putting it into existence.
Oh.
It's happening tonight, baby.
Any news there? So apparently it was because she was sick to death of Charlotte not only speaking to her bad in front of camera, deal with her bad on screen, but also off screen. And she felt like she was the one that was trying to make Charlotte look good, and it was all just one way. Which obviously...
Who reported that? Or is that like...
It's a rumour, I think, yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean, the one I saw, it just showed that, I guess, last minute they added her to a show, and she was just kind of like getting tired of the travel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, I know how the dirt sheets can make certain things look. Rumors can make certain things look. And
yeah.
I just have I guess it's not out of the question that Charlotte could be a problem and they still put the title on her because she is over, like, big time with the crowds. But
is she?
Yeah,
is she that over?
No, for sure. At the live show, biggest reaction, hands down.
Yeah?
People were standing on their chairs trying to get photo. Like, people were going nuts for Charlotte Flair. I know the internet wrestling community has it painted completely different. But yeah, at a live show. No,
because sorry, when I went to the live show in Liverpool back in November, early December, there wasn't no reaction for it at all. Sasha Banks.
But like, we had Drew. Drew got a nice pop. Sasha came out. Hers was bigger than Drew's, and then Charlotte's just. It was like a Becky Lynch return in that arena. It was crazy, and I was like, I don't get it, but I'm not.
It's interesting. Very
I'm not
interesting.
the entire fan base, so.
Yeah. Right, so who are we going to go for then? Let's get back to this. Becky versus Liv. Who are you going for?
I'd hate myself if I say anything other than Becky, so I'm sticking with my girl Becky.
Yeah, Ashton and Crystal well both say Becky. I'm going to go with Liv. I think it's time. Give it a shot. I don't think Becky needs the belt. And I think one thing with Becky is that one makes her better than Charlotte, because I don't believe she needs a belt.
No.
Becky just looks just as good without a belt, where Charlotte doesn't. So, yeah, that's what I always say makes Becky Lynch a better wrestler and better personality, should we say.
A better performer.
Yeah. She doesn't need the belt to look as good. Okay, so next one we've got Big E versus Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens, Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Championship. I know you're dying to speak, so roll on, Jim.
For months, everyone thought Kevin Owens was leaving, and I stood my ground. That man is not leaving. He's going to stay. They're going to reward him with a WWE title, and they're going to reward him again with a main event match at WrestleMania, high caliber, whatever you want to call it, against Edge, because it's a dream match of his, and it's a match that Edge wants to have. And when the title's around it, it just makes it that much better. So I'm standing my ground. Kevin Owens is walking away tonight with the title.
Mm-hmm.
End of discussion. End of discussion. I have no doubt in my mind. Kevin Owens is walking away with WWE title. It's been way too long since my boy held that thing.
Sorry, mate. I'm going to go against you. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley.
Oh,
Big Bob.
Yeah, I got you.
Big Bobby. I think, Big Bobby wins tonight and then he goes into a program with a certain Mr. Lesnar after the fact of this.
That makes sense, but in my opinion, I don't think Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar needs a title to make it feel WrestleMania worthy. And Kevin Owens and Edge doesn't either. But to put it on the same level as a Roman Reigns match or a Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley match, I think the WWE title does that. And they are going to want to make the best marquee matches they possibly can for the show to sell the 160,000 tickets or whatever it is they got.
Do you see Kevin Owens winning this now? Then he goes on and drops it at WrestleMania to Edge.
I don't even know if he drops it at WrestleMania. I won't go that far, but I definitely see him winning it tonight and just carrying it through WrestleMania. I think Bobby Lashley was added to this so that you could get a feud coming out of it. Maybe you get Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley to fill in that void, and then somehow Brock comes into that. With the 4-Way, I was against it at first, but now that I'm looking at it going into WrestleMania season, I think it makes sense because you could have potentially 3 or 4 different feuds coming out of this match to fill in the gaps into WrestleMania instead of trying to draw something out for 3 months. So I like that they did the 4-Way. Yep.
But is he having a decent run though?
I think it's decent at best. I don't think it's been terrible. We've seen worse.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad champion. I think the way he's been presented is a bad champion.
I just don't think he's a good champion. I don't think even just the way he's presented, because I don't see him being presented differently now than what he has been for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and that's my problem, is that they haven't presented him as a champion. But when I see how do you present him as a champion? I don't have him fighting Chad Gable in the middle of a Monday Night Raw and having Chad Gable school him. I don't do that for sure. I don't have him look like the third act in a feud that's revolving around his title. I give him matches that feel important, and I don't feel like he's had a match yet that has felt important. The best match he's had, or the most important one he's had, was against Roman, and he lost it. And I'm not against him losing to Roman because it's Roman Reigns, and he is the story of the entire company. Yeah. But for his best match to be the match he lost, I think sucks for him. And when I look at him as the champion, what I've liked is how he's represented the company outside. When he's going to do the interviews or he's going to these shows and he's being a part of these shows to really promote the WWE, and he's got that title on him. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen a guy doing that looks the part. He looks the John Cena part, if that makes sense.
Do you think?
He's very. He looks approachable. He looks like a nice guy, and he's got good personality. I think that's a good person to promote your company.
Yeah, but Titus O'Neil's being a great ambassador for WWE. Should we throw the belt on him though? No,
but I also think that Big E is infinite times better than Titus O'Neil. That's.
I'm not saying he's not good. What I'm trying to say, is that just because he comes across approachable and stuff like that doesn't mean he should be WWE champion. You know what I mean?
That's not why I'm saying he should be champion. I think he should be champion because he earned it through the years. My problem is I don't think they have given him or done him any favors for this run. They put it on him for shock value. I'll go back on it and I'll admit it. They put it on him for the shock value popper rating, and they had no plan for him. And it's been clear as day. And I don't think that's any fault of his. It's just bad circumstance, and he was just the unfortunate person in that got dealt these cards.
Who do you think's the next kind of biggie? The next one that's going to get the pop up, because we've had obviously we had Kofi, we've Big E's now had a bit of a chance. Bobby Lashley come out and from the mid cards up. Do you see Sami Zayn getting a chance?
Not on SmackDown.
No.
That's why I wanted him to move to Raw. I felt like he would have been a great foe for Big E.
Do you think he'd be a great Royal Rumble winner?
I think his character work would be great, and I think the only way I'm cool with that happening is if Kevin Owens is champion and he challenges Kevin Owens instead of Roman Reigns. If that happens, I'm the happiest man in the world. I'm all for it. If not, I don't think Sami Zayn. It does Sami Zayn any favors, because we know what's going to happen if he faces Roman Reigns. He's not going to be the guy.
But if he wins the Royal Rumble, then he doesn't have to face Roman Reigns.
Yeah. So if he does and he challenges Raw, whoever it is, Kevin Owens, I'm all for it, 100%. Him and Seth Rollins would be great too.
Yeah. Well, that's Crystal Lavelle said Seth will win that tonight. I think it's no one can ever rule out Seth Rollins. He's obviously great worker, great on the mic. The company obviously think a lot about him, and why wouldn't you? Because he is very solid.
In my opinion, he's the best overall guy in wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
I wouldn't be mad if he won.
No. Okie doke. So we'll move on to our final match of the evening. Roman Reigns champion versus Brock Lesnar Universal Championship. Again. Again, and I'm not mad about it.
Please be the last time. I know the last match was good. I like the dynamic now. Face Brock is fun. This version of Roman is fantastic. They're gonna put on a good, fun match.
Yeah.
I just want it to be over with. Just please be over with.
No, Ashton and Chris both say Roman. I think Roman, and I think that this isn't the last we've seen of it either. I think we might get this again at the Royal Rumble. I see.
Royal Rumble wouldn't make me that mad, because those are throwaway title matches. I don't really care about those. That wouldn't make me mad. As long as it's not at WrestleMania. I know. I don't want that at WrestleMania. 100%.
Yeah.
I
think the problem you've got is, unless you pull the trigger on the Drew situation now, with Roman, which I wouldn't really want to, and who else on SmackDown would you put him in a feud with for the Royal Rumble?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, if you're the writers and you're thinking that, and Brock's already nailed on to go with the Rumble, I'd be like, okay, let's give a screw. Paul Heyman screws over Brock here. Heyman on a pole match, Royal Rumble.
If that's the main event WrestleMania, I got some tickets for sale, everybody.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, if Lesnar conquers him there, and then Tribal Chief hits him at WrestleMania, and then obviously The Rock comes out, sets up the match for Hollywood. Job's a good one.
I'll put it this way: if Brock Lesnar and Roman, if Brock doesn't beat Roman tonight and they fight again at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, there's no way I don't believe Brock wins those matches. And then this whole build was for nothing. You did not create a single new star of this, which is what the whole purpose is supposed to be. And it would be such a shame and something not even the biggest WWE fan like myself can defend. That would just be tragic if they let Brock.
But does it not cement Roman Reigns as the new big Brock? You know what I mean?
Not if he loses the title. Like it's just more Roman can't conquer Brock Lesnar, and that's the story we've had for 6 years now.
Yeah.
It's.
I think, to be fair, I honestly think that this is either this one or the Royal Rumble will be the end of the story, and I believe that we're going to get Brock versus Bobby at WrestleMania. I feel like that's the match to have. I really do.
Yeah.
Or put Brock in against somebody else. I tell you what, it'd be awesome to have Brock and Sammy in a tag team.
Yeah, it would be.
bit like RK Bro type of scenario.
I think this is the scenario I'm going to shoot out. They will have a rematch at Royal Rumble. I think that is where you see Bobby Lashley get involved, and that sets up the match for WrestleMania.
Yeah. They
go and they do business with MVP. They pay him for Bobby Lashley's services to help him get that last victory over Brock. And then that's done, and then we get Brock and Bobby. And I think that is something that can help.
Do you think that's why Brock was, I mean, I don't know whether WWE are doing this as long-term booking, but do you think that's why Brock was never given a show on the draft where he can just go where he wants? Because they always had this in mind. Yeah,
so Bobby could come, do his thing, think he's safe. All of a sudden, here comes Brock showing up on Raw. Says, I have no affiliation. I can go where I want. I do what I want. And he comes and he just beats the piss out of Bobby.
Mm-hmm. Okie doke. Well, so are you going to go for this one then?
Roman.
Yeah.
I'd be mad if it's not Roman.
Yeah. Do you see any, just before we wrap this up, mate, any surprises you see along the way tonight? I feel like it's with it being day one and it's being,
I have a hopeful surprise. I'll keep it to myself. I don't want to get myself hyped up again over something.
Bailey?
So I'll keep it to myself. I think we do see a big surprise tonight.
Yeah, I was. I mean, the scenario I keep thinking in my head is Charlotte comes out, blah 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 blah. Out comes Hugger Bailey, bang, wins the title. See you later. Be awesome. I'd love it. I would.
I'm not mad to see Bailey, so.
I think they need to get the belt off Charlotte at some point as well. Rock confronts Roman. Shut up, Crystal Lavelle. I am going to Hollywood, not to Dallas, so we do not want to see that. I know Jim O does.
Like I said the other day, Chris, I like you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see some kind of... I don't think we're going to see The Rock, because I believe he's still in Australia filming Young Rock, isn't he?
Is he still in Australia?
I believe so, yeah. He still hasn't... They haven't wrapped up on that one yet. Could be wrong. Not sure.
I might have to look.
Yeah, go on. I'll let you check that up. Undertaker will show up, so another good one, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised. Alex, he hasn't been seen for a long time, has he? I tell you who else wouldn't be surprised to see: Stone Cold Steve Austin. Obviously, they're looking on doing something with him at WrestleMania, aren't they? And I know they haven't sold all the tickets out yet, so it would be a good way to bring him into something. And I also think they're going to throw some stuff at it, because with Nick Khan being the one that's pushing this pay-per-view home, I think we're going to get some good surprises at it.
Yeah.
I think if it was someone like The Rock who was going to appear, I don't believe WWE would hide the fact. I think when you look at Nick Khan, I mean, I watched his interview with Eliana Wani, and he's a very savvy businessman, and I think if The Rock was going to be showing up on that type of pay-per-view, I think they'd be leaking it everywhere they could without actually coming out and saying it.
I will say this one thing about The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he is still filming in Australia, the man came home for the holidays. There's no questioning that. He definitely came home for the holidays. So there's no reason to believe he didn't get an extended stay home to make this appearance and set up WrestleMania. Not saying it's happening. I'm just saying The Rock showing up tonight is a lot more believable than it was at Survivor Series.
Oh yeah, I don't think that he's gonna. The reason and this was the reason why I booked the Hollywood WrestleMania. I think one, it makes more sense with the whole Hollywood thing. I think for him and for the thing makes sense, and I think for two is the WrestleMania in Dallas. I don't think the Undertaker's Hall of Fame these want to overshadow with The Rock wrestling.
Do you think Undertaker goes in this year?
Yeah, 100% in his hometown. Why not?
I don't think it happens this year.
No.
No, I think he might wrestle this year. I think he might wrestle this year.
I think he goes in the Hall of Fame, and I reckon whatever the main event is, Austin's a special guest referee.
Okay. I'll also add this to the Rock scenario. I don't see any situation whatsoever where they could drag this storyline on for another year. Roman has to do something to change his character, or the tribal chief going against The Rock doesn't really make sense anymore. So,
thanks, Sashi.
I understand the reasoning for thinking Hollywood is the most ideal place, but I also am firmly in that belief that they want to make this the biggest show they possibly can for how big it's going to be and how they've missed out on the last two. And
yeah, but there's a difference between them and The Rock. And, The Rock, he's not doing it for money. So it's what makes sense to him as well, do you know what I mean? And also, with it being Hollywood, all the big fucking glitz and glamour, the studios are going to be more supportive of The Rock appearing at that show than appearing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's arguments to be made for both sides of it, 100%. I'm just really firm on that belief that, again, I'm not trying to set myself up for disappointment. Really not. I'm looking at the storyline and I'm like, man, it really is kind of on that last leg. And if you're gonna sit there and try and do Roman versus Rock for head of the table, whatever, man, that would, I think fans would be completely turned off by that point. They'd be happy to see The Rock, but at that point they just would not give two shits about Roman.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, doesn't it, how you book it from now till then, because the head of the table storyline has been really took a backward step, and they haven't done it. And that's one thing, to be fair, that I've liked about this character is, it's like he's giving Jay and Jimmy a load of crap and beating them up and whatever else, and then it's like, okay, the bloodline's on the back line now because I've got to go and deal with Brock Lesnar, or I've got to go and deal with John Cena, or whoever it is, and then, okay, now I'm back, and that's one thing that I've liked about that, you know what I mean, is Nick wrestling with Thoughts. Nick says they will drag somebody out of the closet. Might just get his little Hogan Pokemon ball out of.
What was I about to say? Like we were just talking about earlier with Sami Zayn winning the Rumble and all that. Who could Roman possibly feud with? We had a hard time naming anybody.
Yeah, Drew's the one, isn't he?
So who would he feud with from WrestleMania to Royal Rumble?
Drew.
For that long, though?
No, but do you need him to feud with, You
got to keep him fresh or people just won't care. They won't want to... Again, they'll want to watch The Rock. There's no question that. But I don't think people will be as invested is if they're tired of this whole Roman Reigns character and The Rock's there. They're going to be like, all right, Rock needs to win. And then when Roman wins, it won't be that heel heat he's getting. It's going to be, this is bullshit heat. And they don't want to do that to Roman again. They want to protect this man at all costs.
Do you turn Roman face for a bit?
I think after WrestleMania, yeah. If The Rock Roman doesn't happen this year, I see a double turn with him and Drew at WrestleMania. Those are my two scenarios. It's either Roman and Rock or Roman and Drew, and you get a double turn where Roman goes face, and then that opens up the doors for so many things.
The thing is, though, do you believe that WWE, if they turn around and have The Rock appear at Texas, but just to appear to announce that, you know what I mean? You'd have this big win for Roman against whoever he's facing. It could even be somebody, you know, not massive, and he just dominates and destroys them. Because you could literally have him go in against, I don't know, a Nakamura or a Rick Boogs, for instance. You know, I'm not saying anyone like that, but you could have him face just somebody who he handpicks himself as a bit of a joke, slams them to pieces, starts going, hey, I'm the tribal chief, da-da-da-da-da. Out pops The Rock, you get the pop at WrestleMania there, and also you set up the highly anticipated match for next year, and it gives all that time to just keep on fermenting and growing and growing. And
the one hole I'll poke in that theory, I believe it was you that brought it up with Survivor Series. You weren't sold on The Rock showing up because you would want to promote him, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more plausible for him to show up unannounced at a show like Day One than it is WrestleMania? Because they want to sell tickets for WrestleMania. And if you're just doing a surprise return with The Rock, you missed out on ticket sales.
Yeah, but at the same time, as Alex has just said then, like Rock versus Cena booking for Mania 1 year build-up. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe it's the ticket sales for Dallas. I don't think that's the... No, don't get me wrong. I think like they might get we might get the build up to it or something. But I just believe with The Rock, it's like Hollywood is the bang. Let's get let's strike while WrestleMania to WrestleMania. Bang, let's do it. You know what I mean? And
that makes sense. It's just like all the other pieces I've announced. They better have a real good story lined up to make this last a whole other year.
Yeah, I mean, you've got The Rock's daughter and all sorts you could throw into it, and if he's got any sense, I mean, because I know I would, if I had my daughter who was in that performance center and I was The Rock, I'd be saying, okay, well, we've got to incorporate her somehow, get her a rub of the green, give her a good touch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just a year though. That's my biggest thing. I don't know if I'm ready to see it for another year.
They did do it with Cena Rock, didn't they? You know what I mean?
It's not fresh in my mind, but I feel like there were a lot more competitors lined up for Cena. And Cena also wasn't champion at that point. I just think
he wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. If he was, he wasn't champion the whole year because The Rock ended up taking it off of Punk. And The Rock beat him at WrestleMania, so no, he wasn't champion when he fought him.
The first time round he was, wasn't he?
The first time Punk was champion, and he was champion all the way through the Royal Rumble. Rock beat Punk, and he beat him again at the pay-per-view between, and then John Cena beat The Rock for the title.
Yeah.
So, again, if they can entertain me, go ahead, do The Rock and Roman at Hollywood and entertain me.
Yeah, I think that the problem that we've got is, and I may be wrong as well, as I say, one, I think Hollywood, but also with the pandemic and stuff, is The Rock's schedule going to allow for Dallas, or was it always going to be Hollywood? Because, do you know what I mean? Because he's had to put his stuffs back. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it could go, Jim, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? But it's going to be interesting either way. See, I believe even if we do get some kind of Rock match this year, then I believe we still get one next year as well.
Yeah, just like the John Cena situation. That's what I was just about to say. You can still have Rock, Roman this year, and then again next year. They've done it before, and so.
Would you put? I mean, someone was saying about putting The Rock in with one of the Usos against Roman.
Having Jay or Jimmy get kicked out, and then he goes, "I got something for you, Uso," and he brings in The Rock. You get a tag team match this year, in which Roman doesn't need a title if that's the case. That's a scenario if they could make it work, play it out. Okay, it works. But then you have the situation where who did Roman lose the title to before WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Is it Brock tonight? Because that would suck. That would suck.
But the thing is, the problem you've got is apart from Drew, who else you put the belt on?
No, you put it on Drew. if you're gonna put it on anyone right now, it has to be Drew, in my opinion. But I still want them to hold off for it to be put onto a new star. Use it as a tool to make a new star. Much like,
who's your new star?
I know a lot of people will say it's early, but if you look at when Brock Lesnar debuted back in the day, he ran through everybody on that roster and won the title within the first year. You could have a very similar situation with someone like Braun Breaker.
Do you think?
You could do it. I mean, he obviously has more to show. I'm not saying like it's a guaranteed win on this, and I'm just saying if the planets align and he proves himself to be worthy, you could do something very similar to that. And then Braun Breaker is your next superstar for the next 15 years.
Yeah, he just needs, for me, he needs a mouthpiece like Brock, like a Paul Heyman.
Maybe
for that to work.
I've liked the little bit he's done, but it's also been short bursts. So there's no telling if he could really go the distance with someone like Roman Reigns back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah. But, well, he's a college wrestler, so he potentially could do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But well, it'll be interesting. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Jimmy, thanks always, mate, for co-hosting. Totally appreciate it. Guys, make sure you do check out. We will have you covered for all your day one needs tonight as well. We'll have our live stream on the YouTube and Facebook channels as always. Guys, watch it live, watch along. Don't want to watch us or you're in work, that's fine. Go over to WrestleBuddy.com and we will have live results going through on there as well. So whether you want to read, watch, or just listen, we've got you covered, guys. So make sure you check us out on all our different platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, www.WrestleBuddy.com. Go over there and check out for all live reactions as well. And until next time, guys, take care and we'll see you again soon.
Come watch me on the show tonight. Watch a wrestling fan watch the show. Real wrestling fan.